let's go to the beginning. Okay, so let's get started. So as I said, I'm with Ecology Ottawa. Ecology Ottawa is a grassroots advocacy organization working to make Ottawa the green capital of Canada. We've been around since 2007, worked with great partners like Enviro Center, and you know, there's so many other great nonprofits in the city. What we focus, and they all have their different niches. Ecology Ottawa really focuses on policy change, and primarily targets policy change at the municipal level. You know, the idea is that we really can't build a better planet or a better country without also making our cities much greener places. And in many ways, the city, you know, despite its, you know, small size and unassuming nature, the city has really set the rhythm for a lot of important policy discussions. After all, it's where 80% of Canadians live. You know, we live in urban areas. And to a large extent, cities are responsible for, they have direct or indirect responsibility for a lot of the mechanisms that will address the climate crisis, as well as other really important elements of making our planet a greener place to call home. So we focus on Ottawa. That's we think that's a big enough thing to focus on, but obviously fit into a larger ecosystem of other organizations that focus on all levels of government, both nationally and internationally. So there we are. So I think there's a theme today in the talks about how you can get somewhere fast alone, but you can, you know, the idea of joining with others really gets you further, and that's really at the heart of our philosophy as well. The idea being that, you know, we're not effective if it's just a bunch of people in an office having opinions on policy, right? What we need to do is drive change, and the way you drive change is by building public support. So at Ecology Ottawa, we say, you know, we do some training, but we're not educational instructors. We do some lobbying, but we're not government relations specialists. Fundamentally, what we are is we're community organizers, and our relevance and our to a certain extent our survival depends on the degree to which the ideas that we have resonate with the communities all around the city, and that is to say, in every corner, you know, rural, suburban, urban. Ottawa is a really big and very diverse city in terms of its size and scope, and it's an ongoing challenge to be relevant to all the communities that make up our great city. So today we're talking about the green economy, and I think that's the thing that really links, you know, talking from an NGO perspective, links us to this broader conversation about what are all these amazing businesses doing to drive change. You know, after all, as was said at the front end, you know, businesses will be absolutely key to the transition to a greener economy. And sometimes we use those words, green economy, and don't quite know what they mean, or haven't stopped to think about it. And so I kind of did a little bit of digging and refreshed my memory as to, you know, what it is we're really doing. And in some ways, you know, when we talk about the transition to a green economy, what we're doing is we're really placing the economy within the biophysical limits of the planet, which is where it's been all along. But sometimes when we get lost down, and I'm a big fan of the study of economics, but sometimes we get lost in conversations and we forget that the economy is really rooted in this broader ecosystem, in this broader biophysical context. And so when we do that, we end up pricing things that we might not have normally priced or might not have traditionally priced, like waste. And here I'm thinking about climate change and carbon pricing. That's a really important waste stream, and pricing it helps us value it in terms of production and consumption, right? And then similarly, you know, valuing things like the ecosystem services that we draw on, that not only, you know, provide, you know, some of the core elements for our businesses or our other work, but also, you know, sustain us. And so pricing those things as well, and accounting for them within our understanding of what constitutes the economy is really an important thing, and I think a really important step forward as we get our heads around what it means to live in the 21st century. This broader map of what constitutes the economy is part of what we're all taking part in. And so what does a small little grassroots NGO do in the middle of all this? Well, what we're doing is we're trying to start the conversations at the policy level that will help change some of these levers to make it easier for businesses and easier for individuals to make the right choices, because we'll have guidance and policy leadership on that front. And so when we think about what Ecology Ottawa does, well, we work in 3 different areas. renewable city, which is our focus on the transition, the energy transition and climate change. Living city, which is our focus on trees, water, and green space. And then active city, which is the focus on sustainable transportation. And I'm using our a lot, but really when you think about any city, these are the things that you would need to tackle if you wanted to make a transition to a green economy. And so when we think about what Ecology Ottawa is doing, these are a picture of solar panels. We're working along with other organizations all across the city in trying to strengthen the city's approach to its renewable energy strategy. And it's just about to unveil a really important plan called Energy Evolution, which will kind of guide its work over the coming years. And some of this translates into kind of more traditional advocacy, where we're holding rallies and we're trying to push for specific policy changes. And here's a shot, a compelling shot, I hope, of a poster where we had a climate emergency rally. This was just a little over a year ago. Believe it or not, the city was entertaining the idea of declaring a state of emergency on climate change, and in fact went ahead and did that. And this actually has meaningful policy ramifications. It meant that they're changing their targets. It meant that they're going to ramp up their ambition in terms of meeting those targets as well. But it also means more positive kind of community-facing elements, right? When we think about how does a city tackle climate change, well, interestingly, a lot of the things that make a city a climate leader are also the things that make a city a much more vibrant and interesting and dynamic place to live. And so our new focus that we're just about to roll out is on 15-minute neighborhoods, which is something that is quickly becoming a buzzword, much to our satisfaction and joy. We're seeing cities around the world adopt this, and Paris actually is leading the way in talking about 15-minute neighborhoods. And really what it means is more mixed-use development, less car dependency, and more density, really, to a large extent. And so it means a real change for a city like Ottawa that was built in the 19th and 20th century, largely around the car. And so this will be a really interesting chapter in our city's history as we kind of re-engineer the city around people, around public transportation. And it's a really interesting challenge that can make for dynamic neighborhoods and some we hope really engaging conversations about what a 15-minute neighborhood looks like in different areas of the city. Active City, this is a picture of Ottawa's flagship Complete Street program. Complete Streets are streets designed for all ages, users, and abilities. And this is a shot of Main Street, where the city built nice segregated bike lanes on both sides. And really the Complete Streets investment that you see here has really been key, one of the key pieces to kind of reinvigorating this neighborhood, which was not too long ago kind of a throughway for cars. And so Active City, that campaign kind of focused on pushing for Complete Streets bylaw, which we've seen. And our next step is really to implement something called Vision Zero, which is to integrate safety considerations into all built infrastructure so that we can eventually eliminate severe injury and death on our streets by bike, by car, by motorcycle, by foot. It's a plague that haunts every city around the world, the idea that people aren't always safe on our streets, and we can improve that with strong policy. And so Vision Zero is a new direction for us there. And finally, a look at air quality. We're launching a program called Breathe Easy to monitor and report back on air quality at the City of Ottawa. And then with that data, what we're hoping to do is change the way the city plans. Should we continue to put retirement homes right next to the 417? Should we continue to put daycare centers next to busy streets? These are real questions that cities around the world have to ask. And without data, air quality data, we can't really answer those questions. And so this is an air quality monitoring program that we're embarking on this summer. Living City, you see here a picture of trees. Trees have been our flagship Living City program campaign for a long time. And really it's about planting, protecting, and promoting trees citywide, reinvigorating our urban tree canopy. And just like other cities around the world, Ottawa's struggling to reach meaningful tree canopy targets in the midst of infill development and other challenges that we're facing because we're a growing city. And so trying to find that balance and trying to make it so that trees are protected systematically is a longstanding policy endeavor that we've embarked on. This is a picture of green infrastructure. This is a permeable pavement. But really, this is one of many tools, living and built infrastructure that can help slow down, soak up, and filter rain where it falls. And so green infrastructure is really a powerful tool for adapting to climate impacts, severe weather events, flooding impacts. And really, you'll see cities around the world moving to adopt this in response to some of the challenges brought on by climate change. But also, trees are also part of the mix. That these are also the things, again, that make our city more livable and dynamic and vibrant and biodiverse. And so this is an area of focus. Speaking of biodiversity, here's a picture of a frog. So we're launching a biodiversity campaign this summer. It involves, some citizen science, identifying species and taking pictures of them and logging them into a free app. But more broadly, we're, again, pushing for policy change, trying to get the city to do a better job at monitoring, understanding the incredible biodiversity within our city. Because, we often think of biodiversity as something out there, but in many ways, cities are where it's at, because what you're doing is that's where the humans, other species, intersection is, where you're seeing expanding urban boundaries, where you're seeing this kind of development pressure that threatens biodiversity. And so it's really important to get the monitoring and systems in place to protect biodiversity where it's most vulnerable to human impacts, which is cities all over the world. And Ottawa is just one example. And so it's a really exciting endeavor. All of this is, I'm hoping you're getting excited about all these things, because the ask is for you to join us. You can learn more, you can join our mailing list, you can donate, you can volunteer. We're a volunteer-driven organization, hundreds of people across the city who volunteer on a regular basis, and we hope you can join it. And if not, just join the list and check it out. There's lots of fun things. There's partnerships with organizations like Enviro Center across the city. We really hope that we're playing a constructive role in the broader conversation that all of you are engaged in terms of how we transition Ottawa to a greener economy. So thank you very much for your time today.
Wow, thank you so much, Rob, for your great